And now to talk about our module of the week, let's turn it over to Martin Anderson, includes a senior solutions engineer at Acquia and a maintainer of a number of Drupal modules and recipes of his own. Martin, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Nick. Have you ever wanted to empower your content creators to place icons from a massive open source library into your Drupal site? There's a module for that. It's called Iconify Icons, and it was created in May 22nd of this year, so less than 2 weeks ago, by David Galliano, GX Liano of Factorial. It has a 1.0.0 version available, which supports Drupal 9.3 or newer, right up to Drupal 11. It is actively maintained, has security coverage, test coverage, and a documentation guide, and it has only 2 issues open, neither of which are bugs. It's officially in use by one site according to Drupal.org, but I'm sure we'll see that increase quickly. Now, out of the box, the module provides both a CK editor button for replacing icons and a new field type. It even provides a new form element that can be used for custom forms, a render element that you can use to programmatically put an icon into something like a custom block, and a twig extension that can be used to place icons in templates. According to the project page, the Iconify icon library includes more than 200,000 icons, though in my limited experimentation, it seems like there are some duplicates between icon sets. Speaking of which, Iconify provides over 150 different icon sets, and in the module's configuration, you can specify which ones you want to be available on your site. Placing an icon is as simple as using an autocomplete to search the names of the icons available, and a preview is shown for each of the matches found. The field widget and the CK editor button both give content creators options for what size and color to use for the icons. For myself, I'd prefer to lock some of those options down. For example, make the part of the fields display configuration instead, but I'm sure that could be added as part of a different widget. I can think of a few Drupal sites I've built where this would have been really handy, so I'm interested to play around with this module some more and see how it evolves. But let's talk about Iconify Icons.
Yeah, Randy, I'm interested to hear your opinion because I saw a lot of activity yesterday as you were testing this out.
Well, I'm a pretty novice user. I'm pretty much a noob, and I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get the toolbar icon to display on things, and I have to assume that I just don't know what I'm doing.
I bet, is it a button that you have to enable, Martin, on the text format? I bet you that's what you need to do.
So the process was really to drag the button into the toolbar. It sounds like you were doing that, Randy. One thing I did notice is that when I used it in the basic HTML text format, there must be some kind of a data attribute that it relies on. I could see the icon in the preview, but then when I saved it, it showed as sort of not available. So full HTML, it worked fine. So that tells me that there's probably some extra piece on the image tag that you need to enable for it to work.
And I was just editing Umami content, and it was basic HTML, so that could easily. I did try changing it to full HTML without success, but when you're a novice, you never know what's going to happen to those things.
Yeah, I actually, not related to this module, but I was installing, I think it was actually the OpenAI module into CK Editor a couple of weeks ago. And I noticed that it actually had, not only did you have to drag the button to the toolbar, but down below it then had a settings section that you then had to click activate in order to actually have it working in your CK Editor. So I think that there's probably a couple of different ways you can configure these sorts of things. Although coming back to icons are a big hit with a lot of content creators. So do you have the ability with this mod? Is this only available in like a CK editor WYSIWYG, or do you have an ability to kind of use it in just like a standalone field? Like if you wanted to provide an icon for like, I don't know, a file upload or something like that.
So it definitely does provide a new field type as well, so that you can do exactly what you're saying. You could say, every article that I post, I want to choose an icon, or, those kinds of things as well.
And now our listeners are like, well, clearly John wasn't listening because Martin said the field widget and CK editor button both give content creators the option for the size and color to use for the icon.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
I did. Yeah, I did. Because
But,
literally, as I asked the question, I was like, "Oh, the answer's right there in the page that Martin was reading."
and nobody listens to Martin, so it's just the way it is.
Oh, that's not true. I listen to Martin.
I mean, this definitely sounds useful. I love icon libraries like this. One thing that I always check, and I wonder how this module handles it, is for a icon library this large, like how does it handle what if you're just using a subset of the icons or just a specific icon? So you would be curious to see how this module handles it.
So the module has a settings page where you can basically, of all of the, I think it's 150 different sets, icon sets, you can pick which ones you want to have available on your site. So if you want to have everybody use just one set so that they all kind of look the same, you can do that in the settings, and that applies to both the CK editor, WYSIWYG, icon placer, as well as those fields. So it sort of, shares across all of that.
Cool.
And
yeah, that sounds like
it
that would help.
also is using external URLs for the graphics, so they aren't being downloaded and clogging everything up.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because the WYSIWYG, when you place those, it's actually pulling those from the Iconify API. But when you place them in a field, it actually embeds the SVG markup directly into the page. So it's actually different depending on how you're using it.
But that's nice, because that means that you can style them and they'll get cached better. So you don't have to worry about, like, one of the things with these types of things whenever they're external is if you have a particular secure website, you have like CSV headers set up, that can always be a bit painful, especially if something changes upstream, things will break. But if it's just embedding the SVGs directly, there's no cross domain, there's nothing that's changed, it's all just HTML at that point. That's pretty nice. That's a nice feature. I'll have to check it out.
Sorry, I'm lost in the icon library now, just looking at all the different types of icons. The search on this page is very nice. You can type in things and it'll show you all the icons they have for that term.
There are so many different sub-libraries that you have. When you first look at it, if I looked at it for the rest of my life, I would still wonder why I would want which one or how I would get the one that I needed. It's like a lot.
We've come a long way from Font Awesome being the only way to get icons on your site, I think. There's a lot of great libraries, and it looks like Iconify kind of merges a few of them.
Have no fear. There are Drupal icons, and subsequently I was seeing how expansive or inappropriate the icons were, and there's also a middle finger icon if anybody's looking for that. So
there are also Star Wars logos in there as well, so
oh really,
you can geek out on that. Yeah,
now the real question is Nintendo on there, which it is.
Oh, they got Lego bricks, Nick. I don't see Star Wars. Is Star Wars 2 words? No.
No, it's search for Empire.
It's interesting to see which companies they're more afraid of than others, because it's under Empire, but Lego shows up and Nintendo shows up. So it's only a matter of time until that becomes game system and brick system. But anyway, this module, I think, was suggested by one of our listeners. So, Martin, if folks want to get connected or suggest other modules of the week, what's the best way for them to do that?
We're always happy to get nominations for Module of the Week in the Talking Drupal channel in Drupal Slack, or folks can reach out to me directly through all the Drupal and social channels as Mandclue.
Awesome. Thank you, Martin.